Did you know that you can do contact scoring, also known as lead scoring, also known as contact engagement scoring inside Tekmatix? Now, basically, this is usually used in sales. It's a way of you giving a number of points to your contacts when they take certain actions inside your CRM. So the reason you might use this is, for instance, if you've had somebody purchase something, you're going to want to give them a number of points, which will then show all of your contacts who have ever purchased something are going to have therefore higher points. You can then consider those particular contacts as high or hot or really high value clients. You might offer VIP services, certain upsells, special arrangements, coupons, special prizes. The absolute possibilities are endless to the people in your system who are considered VIPs, which for instance would be determined based on the number of points that they have inside your system. You can literally score people points for anything they do inside your business. If they open certain emails, if they reply to emails, if they attend an appointment, if they book the appointment, you can even remove points if they don't show up for the appointment. So adding and removing points to contacts in your database based on actions they take or don't take is a really, really smart way for you to start managing and seeing who might need more help in your business. If you've got people or contacts in your system, for instance, that have really low scores, then those might be people you want to consider running re-engagement campaigns with, reaching out to, running surveys for, to see if there's any way that you can actually take them from being non-interactive contacts, for instance, into gaining more points by buying from you or engaging with your products and services. So the way that you can do this inside Tekmatix is inside your manage scoring section in your settings. So I'm just going to take you back to the main menu inside your Tekmatix account. You go down to settings, bottom left hand side of your main menu. And in the settings area, if you scroll all the way down, you'll find an option called manage scoring. So you're going to want to set up, first of all, standard scores that you can set to any number of points that you want. Now, you could just make absolutely everything 1 point because, the more things they do, the more points they will accrue. You may decide in-house that they get considerably more points if they purchase something so that, those people are really going to show up as high scoring contacts in the system. Basically, there isn't essentially a rule to this in the marketing and the sales world. You need to determine what number of points you're going to give to each kind of action, and just giving them all 1 is perfectly sufficient. You will see inside your system there may be some preset default pointing systems in there. If you want to edit any of them that are already in that system, you simply press edit, and you can see here all contacts inside this demo account will receive 6 points if they open an email. So an email is opened, 6 points. You might say, well, look, opening an email isn't that special. Let's just give them 3 points for an example. But basically, because opening an email shows that they are an active contact, maybe you want to give them more points because that's going to now draw our sales team's attention to them. If they're opening emails, they're getting more points. We might want to reach out and, do a call, do a sales call, do some kind of special reach out to them. Now, you will see here we've got scoring if an appointment has been confirmed, if a contact replies to an email, if they actually pay for something. But we can add a lot more rules than this to add scores and points to our contacts by pressing the add new rule button. I'm just going to make my screen a tad bigger for you so that you can see what's going on here. So I've just pressed add a new rule, and we get to say to the system, well, what kind of rule do we want to create? Well, if a something. What happens over here? Let's move my big head. If, for instance, a contact has replied to an email, if they've filled in a form, if they have filled in a survey, if they've clicked a particular link, these are all different things that you can do to add a score. So let's say they filled in a form. Now, by the way, just while we're here, the difference between filling in a form and filling in an order form. A form is just a normal form where you're collecting information. An order form is when they've made a payment, usually through a checkout, just to give you the difference in terminology there. So let's say somebody's opted into a lead magnet, i.e. form submitted. And you're going to tell the system, well, what form is it? Well, it was the form for my lead magnet. Okay, and now that tells us they're quite a hot lead. If they've opted into your lead magnets, they're probably doing something pretty exciting. I might choose in my system to give them 3 points if they opt into a lead magnet. I've pressed save, voila, there it is. How good is that? So I'm now going to press save, and we've now set that up in the system. But this now gets more and more smart, because we can now continue to manage lead scoring through our workflows, but we can also use these lead scores in filtering our contacts as well. We can even contacts that we have with certain score points. So let me show you first of all how you can kind of see, and how your team can see people who have got certain numbers of points, and actually create a smart list around it so that you can always see all the people who have more than 10 points, for instance. So let's go into our contacts, click on more filters over here. Make sure you're set to all and there's no filters selected at the moment. Click on more filters, and we're going to type in engagement score. So we want to find this engagement score filter. And we're going to say to the system, let's go and find all of our really high scoring customers. So I want to say, let's create a filter of everyone who has more than 10 points in our system. Let's press apply, and let's actually save this as a smart list. Let's call this list more than 10 points, or lead score more than 10 points, for instance. Now this will now, in our smart lists up here, will actually create a ever dynamic list of contacts that contain more than 10 points. So I can come here and see all these people that have more than 10 points. These might be people that my sales team will then be responsible for reaching out to, doing sales calls for, whatever. Okay, you might use that for. The cool thing about this is, as in a smart list, it's called smart because when your lead contact scores change in the system automatically through those settings you've just created in the lead scoring area, but also through workflows, which I'm going to show you in a second, this list will automatically update itself. And again, if we are taking points away from contacts through workflows, if they miss appointments or fail to reply, for instance, it will remove them from this list if they have less than 10 points automatically. How good is that? The other cool thing about using this filtering based on points is also because now we've made this a smart list, i.e. a segment of contacts. If I was to go and send out a mail campaign now, when I go to send the mail campaign out, I could say only send this to my contacts who have more than 10 points. So that might be, if I've got a special event coming up, I could write a special campaign saying, I'm so delighted that you've been such a loyal customer to me. Here's a 10% special discount code to my upcoming boot camp, for instance, and only send it to those people who have been really loyal clients. How exciting. Can you see the power of this in your business? So let me now take you to the final step of how you can use lead scoring to really take your marketing, your sales to a whole other level. And that is by using lead scoring features inside automated workflows. This is basically now how you can start managing, adjusting, changing those scores that your leads and contacts have based on actions they do and don't take outside of those basic settings. So I'm just going to go in here and create a workflow. In fact, I'll create a workflow. Let's just see if I've got a workflow in here where somebody's submitted an order. Here we go. So somebody's bought my astrology course. Let's go and check out my workflow for that. Now, we do have other training videos on how to make workflows, so do go and check those out. But what I've got here is an example of a workflow for somebody that's purchased something. And in this example, it's a course, okay? So they have placed payment and then they go through and get all of their confirmation stuff. But what I might want to do is, because they've bought something, I'm going to add an action inside this workflow that's going to increase their lead score or their contact engagement score. Let's press the add button and our actions area will come up here. And remember, this is called engagement score. Is it called engagement score over here? Yes, it is. So type in engagement in the search and you will find an action called modify the engagement score. Okay, this is going to change the score that this contact has. Open it up and it's now going to give us the opportunity to change the score that they have. So do we want to add points or do we want to subtract points? Well, in this case, they've purchased something, so I'm going to add some points. And because they've bought something special from me that's paid, I might add 10 points. Again, the number that you choose is up to you. There isn't any set of rules around this. Just make sure whatever rules you set, you stick to within your system. Okay, you might like to create an Excel sheet or a Google sheet where you've said that anyone who purchases something between this amount and this amount equals this many points. Anyone who purchases something that's $100 $100 or more gets this many points. If you create a system, make sure you stick to it. It's basically the only rule here. So now I can press save action. Now, by the way, action name is just the note title that you see on your thing here. So I might say add 10 points right here. Okay, save action. See there, it says add 10 points. If I press save on this, what will happen now, ta-da, done, is when somebody buys this thing, they will have 10 points added to their engagement score in their contact database. Amazing. I hope that helps. If you've got any questions at all, make sure you press the little purple question mark on the bottom right of your screen. We've got live chat support there that can help you answer any questions you've got. Alternatively, you've got the search for help guides right here, and you can ask a question here as well. If you would love some help getting any of this set up inside your system, don't forget you can also hire our Teksperts from just $50 and do that from your main dashboard in your Tekmatix account or by going to the Tekmatix website and clicking on the support page. You can hire our Teksperts to come in one-on-one with you, jump inside your account and help you get anything done at all. Can't wait to see you doing more lead scoring, increasing your sales management, and really finding ways to be smarter about how you're growing your business and interacting with your leads. Happy teching!